everybody. This is Brian.
Jason.
And this is the Perfectly Screwed podcast.
So what was you just saying about Trump?
Oh, about Trump. Well, we'll do this quick because we only have a half an hour, and I want to get to both of these. But Trump got it. Well, everybody should know this by now. He got indicted by a New York grand jury, and he's on trial right now for paying off that porn star, Stormy Daniels. He's claiming he still didn't do it, but he's also getting sued in a civil matter where he raped that 60-year-old woman in a department store, supposedly.
Wow.
He says he didn't do that either.
Right.
But he did grab him by the pussy, so who knows? I mean, whatever.
Right.
Whatever. He goes, his defense for raping the 60-year-old chick who looks just like his ex-wife, mind you. Just like her.
Right.
He goes, I would never rape her. I wasn't attracted to her. But yet, they showed him a picture of the 86-year-old woman, and he said, that's my ex-wife. And they said, no, or 60-year-old chick. And not 86, 60-year-old chick. And Trump goes, that's my ex-wife. And they go, no, that's her. He's
like, you can just see...
Fucking just dumb. Oh. And then
Donald Trump raping someone in a department store. I feel like if that really happened, we would have footage.
Well, I mean, at the time, he was very, very well known and popular. So
He's always been.
Yeah, but she didn't feel comfortable coming to. This was in the 80s, so she didn't feel comfortable.
He's just also the kind of dude, though, that I can see him fucking groping somebody and being a complete fucking dick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then... Well,
she's not the only one that has said that.
They get pissed off and they're like, fuck you, Donald. I'm going to tell everybody you raped my ass.
The weird thing is she went to a dressing room with him after he asked her to model lingerie for him. And she willingly put on lingerie, and then I guess he got forceful with her, pushed her up against the wall, and took it. To me, that sounds like you had sex in the department store dressing room and then you regretted it.
It sounds like every perfect, normal porn fucking video.
Yeah, I mean...
You know what I'm saying?
It just sounds like you were fucking Donald in the dressing room. That's
right.
What it sounds like to me.
If I'm Donald Trump... I'm just me, right? I'm just me, and I'm asking you to come model lingerie in the dressing room for me.
And you get naked and model lingerie.
I'm gonna push it to the limit.
Right, you're gonna try it.
I mean,
but come on.
I feel like.
But is that right?
If there's nobody in this department, Donald Trump is shopping in a department store that has nobody in it. Nobody around.
There was tons of people there.
Of course.
I'm saying, why didn't you yell out and say, "Hey,
I'm being raped
in the dressing room"? Right.
Right.
Come on now. Now, did he pay off Stormy Daniels to not tell about the affair?
Am I saying his behavior was appropriate? Absolutely not. Probably wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
But did he rape her? I highly doubt it.
No, just like Kobe didn't rape the bitch.
Right. But did he pay off Stormy Daniels? Probably. I mean...
What does she allege?
Well, they said... Well, not only does she allege it, his ex-attorney already admitted to paying her off. They know he did, but Trump says he didn't have knowledge of the payout. That it was just something his attorney did on his own. His ex-attorney. Which, come on, you knew about it. See, what it is that at the beginning...
She's a porn star,
Yeah.
And she banged Donald Trump for a large sum of money,
No, she didn't bang him for money. That was for free. They banged before, and they had an affair. But at the beginning of his first election campaign, back in 2016 or whatever... He didn't want it getting out that he'd had an affair with Stormy Daniels.
Okay, I got you.
So, to make it so that the tabloids, so she didn't put the story on the tabloids, he paid her hush money.
Of course.
But he paid her hush money. Where the problem was, is he paid it to her out of campaign funds. So, so you can't do that. Right. That's misuse of campaign funds and... and all of that. So, right. So, that's what he's in trouble for. I mean, you can't pay people hush money out of campaign funds.
Yeah, he just told whoever manages his money to pay this bitch a certain amount of money, and they took
they asked him.
In the wrong place.
Right. Well, either way, you can't pay her hush money in the first place. Not.
No, you shouldn't be having an affair.
No. Well, I mean, if you want to have an affair, that's up to you. But you can't try to keep it under wraps when you're going just because you're going for presidential election.
Well, certainly not with the money that has been donated to you to become said president.
Yeah, that's where we run into some issues. But
anyway,
he said he had no knowledge of this. I kind of have a hard time believing that part. I think he had 100% knowledge of that.
No knowledge of her being paid at all?
Yeah.
But yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, come on now. You knew she was being paid. You're the one who said to pay her.
Dude, that price was negotiated before there was penetration.
Yeah. Well, that
bitch is a businesswoman.
Yeah, right. Come on now.
The fuck out of here. She probably has more money than Donald.
Mm-hmm.
And more views.
Right. And
definitely more likes.
Oh, he's trying to say he never had an affair with her. They just were having a meeting at the hotel because he wanted to meet her.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to hide it. Yeah, he has to hide an affair, of course.
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, come on.
Cheating on you, baby. Get the fuck out of here with that ugly bitch.
She ain't ugly.
She can't even suck a dick.
She ain't ugly.
I'll
tell you that.
I know, but she can suck the shit out of a dick.
Right. She said his penis is weird looking, too. She said it's a little tiny mushroom penis. I said, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
That's what you would guess.
Yeah,
proportionally.
Yeah, that's my guess about the situation.
The same way you would look, if LeBron James walked in here, you would think he's probably proportionate as well.
Yeah, so he's probably going to get convicted of this because there's too many people that know about the hush money and everything else. And he tried to throw the ex-attorney under the fucking bus. So, yeah, he's probably going to get convicted of that. It doesn't matter. I mean, the likelihood of him getting reelected is horrible. He already said he refuses to go to Republican debates because they didn't personally ask him if the venue and the dates were all right. I said, what, motherfucker? Okay, look. So you're telling me the Republican Conference Committee has to come and get permission from you personally before they set up the dates and the times that they're going to have their debates? Of course they do.
Right.
I'm sorry. We forgot. We had to ask the emperor. Right. Get out of here, dude. Right. I'm not going, motherfucker. You didn't ask me personally. Okay, bitch. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I hope somebody runs that can beat Biden, though. Biden's killing me. Right. But anyways, back to the point of what we're doing today. Yeah, completely off topic.
10 minutes later.
8. But we're getting to the topic. So what we're talking about today, and I'm guessing since we went off topic for 8 minutes, next episode 2 is old Dr. Death.
Dr. Death?
Yeah, Dr. Death.
It's a good name.
I like it. I like his moniker. Probably the most, as far as we know, the most prolific serial killer of the modern age.
Prolific meaning, though, just by
the most victims. Yeah.
Killed. But
yeah.
So,
I mean, when we're talking about Bundy, we're talking in the 20s.
But like
20 people or so. His real name is Harold Shipman. Fred Shipman to his friends.
So when
Harold Frederick Shipman, they called him Old Freddie Shipman.
When did the deaths?
Actually, a lot of years. He was born in 46. So he was practicing from the 60s or 70s. I think he started killing people in the 70s, and they didn't catch him until almost 2000. So 30 years or more he was killing people. Yeah. I mean, look, he has...
But he was an actual doctor.
Yeah, he was a British doctor.
He was an actual doctor.
And he killed over 250 people, which is the most that they know of any serial killer. I mean...
Elderly people.
Yeah, they were all elderly people, yeah.
See, because my thing is, so, when you're talking about sadistic, like, okay, we're comparing this dude to Ted Bundy. right?
Yeah, he wasn't sadistic necessarily.
Ted Bundy is killing...
right around 20 or 30.
But he's killing in a physical... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Bundy usually strangled him.
Right. Getting off on, somehow on the physical act.
Well, Bundy was a rapist.
Strangling, raping, killing.
Yeah.
This dude, right, is killing only elderly people as a legitimate doctor by administering them drugs.
Yeah, usually an overdose of morphine. No, as serial killers go, I mean, he was very humane in the way he killed people.
So that like to me is like, all right, why is he doing this?
Right.
Because yes, 250 people is a fucking shit ton.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking people.
But over 30 years, what are we talking about? On an average wise.
Oh, well, who knows? They only convicted him of 15 that they could prove. But they think the total's 250.
To me, like I was telling you earlier, it reeks of some kind of money grab, some kind of insurance fraud.
Well, let's get into it. He was born into a working class family in Manchester, England. He was a bright child. He became...
Across the pond.
Yeah, just across the pond there. He was a smart child and he became interested in medicine. He watched his mother receive morphine injections at an early age to ease her pain, as she suffered dying of lung cancer. He received his medical degree in 1970 from Leeds University, and a few years later became a general practitioner in Lincolnshire. Now, in 75 is where his first legal troubles run.
So, in 75.
Mm-hmm.
And he hung himself in 2004.
Yeah. Killed himself in 2004 in prison. So, in 75, he ran into his first problem. And his first problem was he was writing fraudulent prescriptions for opiate called pethidine, because he became addicted. So he became addicted to opiates at a pretty early age in 1975.
30 years old.
Yeah, he was 30 years old. And he...
just becoming a doctor.
Right. And he'd only been a doctor for 5 years. And he was writing his own prescriptions to himself for this pethidine, which was an early form of an opiate.
Right.
Like a Loratab or something before they had
all
Loratab.
that shit's just then busting on the scene.
Yeah. 75
They're just now learning how to cook it up in the labs.
Yeah, well, they had morphine for years.
And you're talking about MK Ultra, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of government run. I mean, that's at the tail end of that, but still. The tail end of that we know of.
Well, what's funny is when they found out in 75 that he was writing fraudulent prescriptions to himself and was addicted to this opiate, he was forced out of his practice and into drug rehabilitation. But back then in the 70s, they didn't take away his medical license, though. He was still a doctor. So in 77, he started working again. I mean, at this point, nowadays, you get a doctor that's writing fraudulent opiate prescriptions to himself. He's not going to be a doctor ever again.
No.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, your life's over, bud.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the only fucking chance you would have would be your license going to be taken away.
Right, your license is gone, but you're never going to get it again.
Maybe not, but at least 5-10 years. I mean,
at least.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to just go to some fucking rehab and come back. And
I'm
back.
Yeah, 75 he went to rehab. 77 he's back working as a general practitioner. I mean,
right.
2 years later,
so he's a shady fellow.
Oh, very,
right?
Extremely.
You can say he's down to play the game. That's why I'm saying, I guess, the other thing, does it say anywhere the people that he administered the drug overdoses to, I wonder what they were they really dying? Maybe they really had like lung cancer like his mom did.
Yeah, no, they weren't dying. They were just his old patients. They were elderly, and he was going to do regular things for them. And he said that one of the things he said later on when he was caught was that older people are a drain on the economy of England. So he was doing England a favor by eliminating the drain on the economy. So, yeah. I mean, in his mind, he thought he was doing a favor for the Commonwealth by taking out these old motherfuckers who were just...
Well, I mean, it's really just common sense. I mean, the way that it's set up is you work to a certain age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you retire. Well, when you retire, you're still getting paid money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the money you're getting paid, obviously, is coming from money that's being paid out by people that are working.
Right.
And so, the older people you let people get, the harder on the economy it's going to be, because the more money you have to pay out. Which is exactly what we're running into now.
So, anyways, let's go back a little bit. He began working at Pontefract General Infirmary in Pontefract of Yorkshire in 1974. He took his first position as a general practitioner at Abraham Amrod Medical Center in Todmorden. Then, as we said, the following year he was caught forging prescriptions. He was fined £600, and he briefly attended a drug rehabilitation center for 6 months in New York. And then in 1977, he started again as a general practitioner at Donnybrook Medical Center in Manchester. He worked in Manchester throughout the 80s and established his own surgery at 21 Market Street in 1993, becoming a respected member of the community. In 1983, he was interviewed in an edition of the Granda Television current affairs documentary World in Action on how the mentally ill should be treated in the community. So, in March 1998, Linda Reynolds of the Brook Surgery in Hyde expressed concerns to John Pollard, the coroner of the South Manchester District, about the high death rate among Shipman's patients. In particular, she was concerned about the large number of cremation forms for elderly women that he had countersigned. Police were unable to find sufficient evidence to bring charges and closed the investigation on the 17th of April in 1998. They had assigned inexperienced officers to the case. After the investigation was closed, Shipman killed 3 more people. A few months later, in August, taxi driver John Shaw told the police that he suspected Shipman of murdering 21 patients. Shaw became suspicious as many of the elderly customers he took to the hospital, who seemed to be in exceptionally good health, died very closely to the time Shipman came to their house. So, wow. This guy is going after not only elderly people, but elderly people in perfect health. Nothing wrong with them.
Well,
he goes over, visits them for their weekly visits or checkups or whatever. All of a sudden, a couple hours later, they're deader than shit.
Yeah, he's not like a doctor at a hospital where people are laying in bed for days on end, where he's slowly can administer, overdose lethal and doses of drugs. No, he's walking into people's houses
and shooting them up and just killing them. Yeah, just straight killing them. And then he leaves, and a couple hours later, somebody finds him deader than shit, and they're like, "Well, this person was in perfectly good health. What the hell?" And nothing wrong with him. And not only that, I mean, it's amazing to me they didn't catch on a little sooner. I mean, he's not only doing that, but he's signing the death certificate saying they died of a heart attack, and then signing cremation forms to make sure they're hurried up and cremated before anybody can do an autopsy. Right, yeah. So, you'd think they would have caught him a little sooner than they did, because it's like, I mean, I don't know about you, but if all these patients start dying and he's the same doctor and like they're fine, and then he goes and visits them and they wind up dead a few hours later, and then he's signing death certificates and cremation forms.
And that's basically what's happened, you know what I'm saying? Finally enough people caught on to it. But you can see how you could get away with it for a while.
Well, see, Shipman's last victim was Kathleen Grundy.
He just went too far with it.
Well, this one is where it got caught, which, again, it's amazing it took that long, 250 victims, and it took him really fucking up for them to actually catch it. And Shipman's last victim was Kathleen Grundy, a former mayor of Hyde, who was found dead at her home on the 24th of June, 1998. He was the last person to see her alive. He later signed her death certificate, recording the cause of death as old age. Grundy's daughter, Angela Woodruff, became concerned when a fellow solicitor informed her that a will had been made, apparently by her mother, with doubts about its authenticity. The will excluded Woodruff and her children, but left £386,000 to Shipman alone. At Burgess's urging, Woodruff went to the police, who began to investigate. Grundy's body was exhumed and found to contain traces of heroin, diethylmorphine, often used for pain control in terminal cancer patients.
Oh, well, see, a family that didn't let their the elderly person get cremated.
Yeah. Shipman claimed that Grundy had been addicted to heroin and showed them comments he had written to the effect in his medical journal. However,
of course,
she was just an addict.
Of course he did.
Yeah, she was just
I was
an
tracking
addict.
this all along.
Yeah, we already knew.
I didn't write this last night.
No, we knew. She's been addicted for months. Months.
You ever seen the movie? You know who Frank Lucas is?
Yeah.
Seen the movie American Gangster?
Yeah.
That was your mother and your granny. She was on the corner buying Blue Magic. She was a fucking heroin addict. I did her, me, you, all of us a favor. That's why I'm taking the 386,000 pounds.
She was buying the Blue Magic, baby.
And I'm leaving.
She was on it.
Yeah, she was.
So,
Grandma heating up the spoon and shit, tying one off.
So then police looked at an examination of...
Shipman's damn near a hero.
They looked at his computer, right? And showed that the entries about her heroin addiction were made after her death.
Right, exactly.
He wasn't even smart enough to get him in there before he...
No. And that's just simple data, you know. God damn, Shipman. Sloppy.
So
sloppy.
He was arrested on September 7th, 1998, and was found to own a Brother typewriter, the same one that was made to forge the will. He forged the will because he either wanted to be caught, or because his life was out of control, or because he planned to retire at 55 and leave the UK. The police then started investigating other deaths Shipman had certified and investigated 15 specimen cases. They discovered a pattern of his administering lethal doses of diethylmorphine, signing patients' death certificates, and then falsifying medical records to indicate that they were in poor health when they were perfectly healthy. In 2003, the British government suggested that if they had been statistically monitoring Shipman, it could have led to an alarm being raised at the end of 96 when there were 67 excessive deaths in females aged over 65 years. compared to 119 that he signed in 1998. So in 1996, he done 67 of them just alone. So, and then he did 119 between 96 and 98, boy. He was kicking them off left and right.
God damn.
So he went to trial on the 5th of October, 1999, and he was charged with the murders of 15 women by lethal injections of diethylmorphine, all between 1995 and 1998. They tried unsuccessfully to have the Grundy case tried separately from the others, as the motive was shown to be the alleged forgery of Grundy's will. On the 31st of January 2000, after 6 days of deliberation, the jury found Shipman guilty of 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. He was sentenced to life in prison on all 15 counts of murder, with a recommendation that he be subject to his whole life tariff, which means without parole. They call it a whole life tariff in England. It means life without parole. It was to be served concurrently with a sentence of 4 years for forging Grundy's will. Yeah, let's add 4 years because you got 15 life sentences back to back.
Right.
But let's throw on the 4 years. That way, if you live 15 life sentences, we'll make sure that you do another 4 years in prison because, you know.
Well,
it always is
there
silly.
Could be an advancement in medicine that, you know, we could be living 240 years at that point.
Yeah, but it's life. Life is life. Life means the rest of your natural life.
Until you die.
Right. So I always found it odd that they give you 15 life sentences without parole. Okay, if you have 15 life sentences with the possibility of parole, then I get it. Because once you serve one, and yeah, you can be paroled on this one, but you got 15 more to do. So you have 15 more parole hearings before you could possibly get out. So then I understand it. But if you have no possibility of parole, it doesn't matter if you say 15 life sentences or one.
Right. Just say life. You ain't getting out.
Right, you're not getting out. Right. So it doesn't matter how many you give me.
Right. Agreed. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just silly.
But, yeah.
On the 11th of February, 11 days after his conviction, Shipman was struck off the medical register by General Medical Council. Oh, so they took his license away, finally. Yeah, after killing 250 people, they thought probably...
Well, it's going to be hard to practice.
Yeah, in prison.
15 lives.
Right, yeah. But at least they took his... I mean, they waited till he killed 250 people, but, you know...
They got it.
Yeah. We're going to take your medical license away now. We think it's only...
It's all taken care of.
It's only justified.
We got him.
Yeah.
We got him. Don't worry about this. Nope. We'll take it from here. Knew it all along.
I mean, the fact that he was addicted to opiates back in the 70s, that wasn't a problem. But we think that you killing 250 elderly women is probably a reason we should revoke your medical license.
We'll take that. We'll take that, sir.
2 years later, they confirmed the whole life tariff. Let's see. They wanted to bring many additional charges against Shipman for the other murders that he committed that they had later found out about. But they said there would be no way to get an impartial trial because he had had such publicity. Plus, they said that since he has 15 life sentences already imposed, further litigation would probably be unnecessary. Don't you think?
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Just saying. So, in prison, he became best friends with another fellow serial killer, Peter Moore. So they're just hanging out in prison.
Well, they had a lot of common.
A lot of common, yeah. Good guys, Peter and Shipman. Yeah.
The conversation just seemed to flow.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
So you're
Harold
saying
and Peter.
So you're saying You just injected them? I choked the shit out of them bitches.
Your way sounds rather interesting, yes, but...
Oh, so Shipman's
I like
denied...
to rape the dead bodies of my victims.
So Shipman denied his guilt up until his death, disputing any scientific evidence against him. He's also the only doctor in the history of British medicine to found guilty of murdering his patients. So on January 13, 2004, at age 57, Shipman was found hanged in his cell at HM Prison, Wakefield, at 6:20 a.m., so he hung himself. He was pronounced dead at 8:10. They said that he had hanged himself from the window bars of his cell using his bed sheets. And that's basically where it ends. So Shipman killed himself.
It is wild. Because again, you know what I'm saying? You're not sitting there like... I'm guessing that they probably didn't go painfully.
Them?
Just
No.
fell asleep.
Well, no, but...
Put him to sleep, basically.
Yeah, he put him to sleep, but again, there was no real...
It doesn't seem like there was any
There
real
was
motive
no
or
real
reason.
motive established, but I mean, that's the way with most serial killers. There is no real motive for their actions. They're just nuts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just crazy. They just got something mentally wrong. It's just Shipman's an amazing case.
But but also like the fact that I don't know.
Shipman's just an amazing case because of the amount
Yeah.
he did. I mean, none of it is really brutal. Not like when we spoke of Edmund Kemper, who liked to cut people's heads off and
Right. That's what I'm
perform fellatio on himself, or
Right.
The many other serial killers that we've talked about on here. Yeah, some of them are really gone,
Right.
But but Shipman was, for the most part, he was humane about it. But killing is killing.
Right.
I mean, whatever the reasons, he still killed 250 elderly women for basically no reason whatsoever.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the fascinating part. Right?
Yeah.
The confusing part.
Yeah. For why?
What are you doing, bro?
Yeah. What's the point? Yeah. I mean, and I understand at the end why he did the last one, because he forged the will. But up until then, he wasn't getting any profit from killing these people.
Yeah.
And he had been, obviously, their doctor for a while. So it's like one day he just shows up and he's like, I'm in the mood to, kill this motherfucker today. So
Right.
he just puts him to sleep.
I'm tired of you fucking old people.
Yeah.
You're a drain on the economy.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
We're just going to put you to sleep today.
No reason to have
Yeah.
you here.
No reason either. Because
you're a fucking burden.
Yeah. He just chose that particular woman that day, went on and saw his other patients.
Well, of course, no big deal.
Yeah. So
She's just really high for a few minutes. I leave and she's gone.
she wouldn't even be high, because if you give her an overdose of heroin, I mean, she would pass out immediately and
Yeah.
then
Heart gone.
heart gone. Yeah. It'd be a few seconds. They'd be done.
It's just weird, man.
Well, you know
Because
what?
you could kind of, like I said, you could kind of understand like all the gruesome serial killers because they all get some kind of physical pleasure.
Right, but yeah, Shipman wasn't even
doesn't-
getting that.
It doesn't right. It doesn't even seem
Yeah.
like that's like you. It's crazy that the other ones you can see or can understand.
Yeah, you can understand their
If you're
motivation.
able as a person to, be in touch with
Yeah.
how evil everybody can be, even you can understand somebody doing gruesome things to somebody.
Yeah. But for him, it was just
For
like
him, though,
it was like he drew these names out of a hat.
Right.
He's going around visiting all these elderly people, and it's like this one. He's just like, we're gonna kill this one
Yeah,
today.
you're dead.
Yeah, just for no reason.
No big deal.
Yeah, and not only that, like I
I went to
said,
rehab for writing prescriptions
Right.
to myself. I can write prescriptions to patients
Yeah.
all day long.
right. And it's also weird because most male serial killers, like you said, are sexual in nature or violent in nature. Most of them are also rapists or, whatever. It's very rare to have a male serial killer who kills their victims in this manner.
Right.
Because mostly that's a female serial killer. Like there was the nurse that was killing elderly patients by injecting them with insulin. Mm-hmm. And overdosing them and killing them. And with female serial killers, that's kind of a, normal. Females do it more of the, less violent way. But yeah, as you look at male serial killers, it's normally very violent in the deaths. You know what I'm saying? Like Dahmer and Bundy and Gacy, all very violent ways they killed people. And normally a sexual connotation going on there.
Right.
He was very much out of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also very much out of the norm that he got away with it for so fucking long.
Yeah, for sure.
And to have that many victims on your hands, I mean, Jesus, dude. I mean, he was just basically going around killing people from, well, they said he did 119 between 96 and 98. I mean, you think they would have caught on when you have 200 patients, 119 of them are dead within a year. It's like, God.
See, it could have been a pharmaceutical thing, too. He could have been in cahoots with the pharmacy selling these drugs. Hey, you need to get rid of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Get rid of this morphine for us, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
More morphine you get rid of, the better it is. But see, I kind of understand a little bit why he got away with it, because if you look at it, they were old. So it's easy just to say, well, they died of old age. And nobody's going to question that.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It would have been different if they were,
20-year-olds. It just took a long time for people to catch on.
Yeah, and actually, if he never forged that will, they probably never would have caught him.
Right.
That's where he fucked up.
Well, I guess money would make sense to me as a motive.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like, did he successfully forge some wills before he got caught,
Yeah, and never. That's the weird thing.
Right.
He never done that beforehand. But anyways, hope you guys liked it. And this was our episode about Harold Shipman. And
Death.
Yeah. We will see you next time.
Later.